Good morning, CMS families. Thank you for joining us for today's CMS Family Academy Coffee Chat, AI Literacy for Families. Please take a moment to sign in to today's session using the bit.ly that's displayed on the screen. That would be bit.ly/Family Academy sign in. This has also been added to our Q&A along with today's slide deck. Families, if you are in need of translation support on today's call, please select Captions in the top right-hand corner of your screen. From there, please select Show Live Captions, and then from the drop-down, please select the language of your choosing. Once again, families, please select Captions in the top right-hand corner, followed by Show Live Captions, and then select the language from the drop-down of your choosing. And families, today our goal is to make sure that you are prepared and supported and understand what AI in education means for CMS. So we want to hear from you. Throughout today's session, if you have any questions, please add them into our Q&A. Once you click Q&A in the top right-hand corner of your screen, you will find a text box that will appear where you can add your questions. Questions will be monitored during the session and also answered at the end. Additionally, we want to hear from you, families. Please use the React feature to share your ahas, your wonderings, your wow moments with us. Today's session is for you, and we want to make sure that you receive what you need. So let's kick it off with the CMS AI implementation journey. And this journey is going to start with you, our families today. So let's talk AI. How are we feeling? Let's use that React feature to share. If you are so confident in AI, you use it every day and you love it, let's add a heart React feature today. And it's okay if you're not, if you're like, whoa, this is so overwhelming. I don't know anything about AI. It's everywhere now. Give me a little clap emoji so that we know that you're in the room too. And if you're like, I'm just here to learn and grow and wow, what is AI? Please give me that wow reaction because we are all learners today. And that is going to be the purpose of our session. And if it is something where it might be in your life, you use it some, you're comfortable with it, and you're just here to grow, give me that thumbs up. Today, we are all going to be learners in the space, and we are all approaching this from our own lens, and we are excited to engage with you today. And we're going to start with just what has already happened. CMS has been engaging with AI and preparing for this implementation for a few years now. Starting back in March of 2024, we laid the foundation with our first Data Private Summit, where we engaged in these conversations. And this led to CMS partnering with the ILO group to strategically plan what AI would look like for the districts. We leaned into experts within the field. From there, we engaged with our stakeholders. That would be our community, our families, our staff members, to develop engagement and communication plans of what this could look like and what we needed to know and learn. From there, we began to gather insight through stakeholder surveys. We conducted interviews and focus groups, and we also developed a community feedback report. And within this, we use that feedback to draft the CMS AI vision and guiding principles. We were able to host multiple data privacy and AI summits where we were able to bring together educators and leaders in the community and explore some of the insights that were gathered from our stakeholder surveys, focus groups, and interviews that had already been conducted. And from there, this past summer, we were able to launch the CMS AI vision and guiding principles to our leadership. That would be our CMS principals and district level staff at our CMS leadership conference. And from there, we began to work on making sure that our families, our community, and all of our stakeholders were aware through our communications campaign. And we are excited to continue to share this information with you today. And so what did that look like? When we say that we heard from the community, you might wonder, who did we hear from and what did that look like? But our district leaders, that would be the leadership from Charlotte-Mecklenburg schools, conducted 45 different interviews throughout our central office and throughout our district as a whole. We also had stakeholder focus groups that included our Board of Education, focus groups with our families, our students, our teachers, and our school administrators, our principals and assistant principals to hear their thoughts and voices. And we also had a community survey with over 10,000 individual responses from our families and our community about what AI meant to them and what they would like to see moving forward. Out of those 10,000 families or 10,000 responses, 75% of those were from our families. So over 7,000 responses came directly from families of our students and were taken into consideration in this process. And over 2,000 of these guiding principles were from our staff members, those who are invested in pouring into our students each and every day. And within that, we were able to produce and provide the community engagement feedback. If you would like to learn more, this would be a great outline of those responses that we heard and what that meant as we crafted our AI vision. In order to learn more, you're welcome to review the link in today's slide deck or visit cmsk12.org/AI. And so we're talking about all these guiding principles that we've shared, and you families might be thinking, well, what are these guiding principles? What does this mean for me as a family, as a community member, and for my students? So I would like to emphasize what CMS's AI vision will be and tailored to. CMS is going to use AI to enhance, not replace the work of our amazing staff. We know that the individuals that are touching your student each and every day are highly impactful and make a difference. AI cannot replace the work of a teacher, of a principal, of a school leader, of a special areas. So we will use this to enhance, not replace the work of our staff members. We are also going to use AI to support all of our 4 pillars of excellence. Within CMS, we are guided by the excellence of academics, people, our operations, and engagement. And AI will be used to support all 4 areas that we focus within. And it will also be used to partner with our families and the community every step of the way. We will continue to engage with our families, continue to engage with our community to hear your feedback, hear your concerns, and make sure that how AI is implemented does match the overall need of our families and community. And that AI is going to be a tool. It's not a replacement for a human connection or leadership. Just as our calculators are not replacements for understanding the basics of mathematics, AI is not going to be a replacement for everything. It will just be another tool in our pencil bag that we use to strengthen education for our students and families. And so we know that this is where we are now. And what might that look like for the rest of our school year and for the rest of our time as learners within Charlotte-Mecklenburg schools? So the next step is that CMS is going to be very intentional and very careful because we know that this concept and this topic is one that we must engage with a focus on our students and our families' trust. Our goal is to protect and make sure that our students' safety and is at the forefront of this process. These intentional steps are going to be used to enhance AI and ensure that it is applied appropriately within our schools, focused around our student learning. It will be used to amplify our student voices. It is going to be used to support our educators to strengthen their work and support what they do each and every day. And it's going to reflect our CMS core values. And so we know that that's what this might look like within CMS. And now you still might have this big question mark above your head of, I still don't know, what is AI? I hear about it all the time. What is AI and what does that mean? So let's dive in a little bit deeper. And we're going to start with just a few key vocabularies to get us going. I want us to think about AI or artificial intelligence as a program that's made by humans that makes computers do things that seem intelligent or smart in the same way that humans are intelligent. It might seem like this is a new concept or something new, but AI has been around for a while, a long time, and it's been engaged with through our computer systems before. You might have more awareness because of a popularity in the attraction of generative AI. And this would be a broader category of AI systems designed to create new original content such as text, images, maybe some music or videos by learning from large data sets. This is the type of AI that you might have been hearing a little bit more about from things like ChatGPT or Copilot. And we're going to continue to learn a little bit more about what this looks like in our day-to-day life. And so we're going to listen to a quick video that breaks it down for us.
Intelligence. It's a program made by people that makes computers do things that seem intelligent or smart in the same way that humans are intelligent. How does AI work? First, AI is built using data, lots of it. Much of the data comes from the internet and includes things like websites, newspaper articles, books, social media posts, and anything else that has been put online, including personal information such as your full name, birthday, photos, and more. This information can be incorrect or biased. Then, computer engineers build intelligent programs that use data to learn, solve problems, and make decisions. An example of AI that makes predictions is the tech behind the scenes in social media platforms your kid probably uses, like Instagram, TikTok, or YouTube. These recommendation programs use information like your kids' browsing history and their interests to predict what posts or videos are most likely to keep them engaged and online.
So families, that was a great overview of some of those basic pieces. So when we're talking about AI and how does AI work, we're going to think about it in a three-step process from start to finish of what this might mean. The first step is going to be the data set. This is the information that AI is using to guide its work. AI is not necessarily making up information or, just producing things at will. Someone is providing it with a data set or information that it is going to use and put through an algorithm or an equation that's going to result in it creating, producing, or changing something with a predictive outcome. So you might be thinking, okay, this all sounds, wow, there's something going in, there's something coming out, but what might that look like in my day-to-day life? And we'll go over some examples, but what I always think about when I think about AI is going to be the ways in which something like a streaming network like Netflix uses this information. So this is an easy way for me to kind of wrap my mind around it. The data set that Netflix is going to use to provide that information would be things like my viewing history, my ratings and feedback on certain shows, what I might search within my own Netflix account, and what my demographic information is. I know on my account, if I'm watching a lot of comedy shows, a lot of comedy movies, a lot of funny stuff, I'm probably not going to receive information about maybe a scary movie. So, and that would be because Netflix has taken that data set that I like comedy, I like funny things, and they put it through their algorithm, and they will say, oh, she liked funny show number one. She might enjoy funny show number two or three. So that's just a quick way to think about how it uses our data. What I've told it, I enjoy my funny TV shows. It puts it through its system and it goes and it finds the next funny TV show that it thinks that I might enjoy. So let's think about how that might look in our day-to-day life outside of Netflix. So another great example of this might be your social media. I know if you're like me, I tend to scroll a little bit and like things, or I might add someone on Facebook, maybe from back in high school. When I add that friend from high school, all of a sudden I'm getting people you may know request from my hometown. And that's going to be an example of how that social media is using AI. It has connected the commonality of me and that mutual contact and providing me suggestions of others with that same mutual connection. So give me a thumbs up if you've ever seen that on your Instagram, your Facebook, maybe TikTok or Twitter, where you've had some of those predictions or shares. Another great example might be the navigation. I know when I go home each and every day, I know how I plan to go home. I know the quickest route to my house, but I always double check with my GPS. And it's going to tell me if, oh, there's a big slowdown, you might need to reroute and go a different way. That would be an example of AI using the data from the community to apply directly to my cell phone for me to get home quicker without a slowdown. So if you've ever had that where you're rerouted using navigation, give me a heart a reaction because I'd use that almost each and every day, and I know it is a time saver for me. Another example would be smart devices. If you have a cell phone or if you're using any of those other types of devices and you are using facial recognition, that is your smart device saying, hey, I know she owns this phone. Her eyes, her nose, her mouth, this is her phone. So it is using that each and every day. And I would hate to know how many times it uses my face to log me into my cell phone, but things like that every single day. So if you have that set up on your cell phone, or maybe if you use Snapchat and have some of those filters that apply over your face, that's another example. It is finding where your face is and applying or predicting where to put the little maybe animal mask or whatever that fun little thing is. And then finally, another just everyday example, the wow one, the Amazon always gets me. If I know that I have been searching for something for my child, maybe a certain water bottle in a certain color or something like that, and looking at a certain brand, I all of a sudden start getting all of these new ads for different water bottles, for maybe a matching lunchbox, a matching book bag, all of these things to sell, sell, sell me. And that's a great example of how Amazon is going to use that search data. It knows I have a son, that I'm looking for something blue for school, and it's going to give me some other examples. So give me a reaction, let me know. And if you have any other examples that you see in your day-to-day life, feel free to drop those in the Q&A because AI is definitely all around us. It makes our life sometimes a lot simpler, a lot more accessible. It might be a time saver or a tool that we can use for connection as well. And families, with all that greatness that we've talked about, all the ways that it can be easy, it can make us a little bit more accessible, save time. There's also things that we need to be aware of because at the end of the day, we are using our data to inform computers in our computer system. So with all benefits, we also must be aware of our risks. So let's level set with just a few key vocabulary words here. One of those is going to be our AI bias. So you might hear bias where it's something where it might be a wrong or an unfair decision because of something it has learned from its data that wasn't fair to all people, places, or things. AI is using data that is input by humans. So if a human brings a bias within their data set or has something that might be wrong or unfair towards a certain people, place, or thing, that will be what the computer learns and applies. The next key vocabulary word to be careful of would be hallucinations. You're probably familiar with hallucinations of seeing things that might not be there. Very similar. When AI creates answers that might sound right, but might actually be wrong or made up. I know an example of this was I used AI to find a quick recipe one time, and it gave me the wrong ingredients, and it was very clear just using my mind how this recipe might not work out. And that's going to be a great example of our next example would be human in the loop. And that's making sure that when you're using AI, you are reviewing this information and you are doing personal checks to make sure that it is correct before using it. So within that recipe, when it called for I want to say it was a quarter cup of baking powder. I had to put my hands up in the air and say, those muffins will not be turning out if I put a quarter cup of baking powder into this little 1 cup of flour. Let me use my experience, my understanding to fix this problem and find out how to make this recipe a little bit better. So as you're using AI, as you're using it to automate tasks or make things easier and more accessible, please make sure that you are aware of these things, that you are using that human in the loop, you are checking over and using it as a tool to strengthen and not to replace some of those key pieces that you might be trying to automate. And then a few of those risks might also be within our generative AI. Sometimes with those hallucinations, it might make up misinformation completely. So instead of just maybe giving me a wrong amount of baking powder, it might have told me to add cornstarch, which just doesn't even go in that recipe, or it might make up an ingredient that might not exist. Another way it could show a bias would be unfair or incomplete data. It might be missing some of those key pieces that needed to be included for it to be the utmost correct. And it might be misused to impersonate, bully, or invade privacy based on the information that has been provided to those systems. And since AI can make mistakes, just like humans can make mistakes, we must make sure that we have a human in the loop to double check to ensure that the practices that we are using are safe and fair. So please, if you're using AI, always make sure to just double check those key components. And then maybe what does this look like in education? So we've talked about what it looks like in our day-to-day life. We've talked about how it can be used for when we're driving our cars, when we're shopping, maybe when we're using our cell phones. But within education, what does this look like? It's going to allow our students to have more personalized learning to fit each student's need. Some of that data will be used as answering questions and then using that to say, hey, my kiddo understands this concept. They're ready for the next piece. It's going to provide feedback on demand for our students. So families and students will receive quicker information, quicker responses based on their own understanding and learning to continue to strengthen their learning inside and outside of the classroom. And it's going to support creativity with ideas and tools for projects. AI is great at being a thought partner within the work. So it allows students to help expand their thinking as well as enhance their projects. And it also is a great opportunity to offer language supports throughout our diverse district. And as we're supporting our students with AI, we want to make sure that AI literacy is at the forefront of it. So what does that mean? AI literacy. We talk so much about literacy and we've been talking about AI. So AI powers so many of our digital tools that we use each and every day. And students need to understand how to use it safely, kindly, and wisely, just like adults and individuals in our community. We need to be aware of what this tool is capable of, as well as what some of those risks are, so that it can enhance and not be a barrier. So that means that we need to teach AI literacy to our students to make sure that they are able to succeed and navigate its work on relationships and information, and that our students understand how to use this tool. So within the 25-26 school year, all staff have completed a self-paced online course that's focused on the foundational AI concepts. So every member of CMS will be aware of these processes that we're reviewing today in the basics of AI. And that means that at each school building where your students are enrolled, there's an AI champion, as well as there's district office AI champions who are exploring these AI tools in depth to make sure that they are meeting the needs of our students and our stakeholders. And these experienced staff are leading and sharing the adoption of AI strategies district-wide. So we're sharing them with our schools, we're sharing them with our staff, and we're also sharing them with our community stakeholders. And our K-12 students are also going to learn about AI through the CMS Digital Citizenship and AI Literacy lessons that all of our students will be engaging with this year. And for more information about what this might look like for your student, for your child, please reach out to your student's school for additional information. And then from there, we know what our schools are doing. We know how it will be used for our students. So what does that mean for families as we move forward in navigating our school year to make sure that AI is implemented safely and responsibly? And we want to encourage you to start having some of those AI conversations at home. We know sometimes after school, it can be tricky to get those conversations rolling. How was your day? Good. This is a great question to get started. Have you used AI at school? Really? Tell me about it. Do you like it? Do you not like it? Share more. This is a great conversation starter. And then also discuss what it might look like outside of school. Have they seen it in their own personal social medias? Do they know if their friends are using it? Learn more. Take that listening approach. And set clear boundaries around when and how the AI tools can be used, helping to create healthy habits. and support learning the difference between an ethical, the right way to use AI, and an unethical, the incorrect, maybe the wrong way to use AI. So, a lot of these guiding principles will also be a part of your own personal family's conversations and your comfort within these systems. So, get the conversation going, begin sharing, and this is a great opportunity to engage. And a few additional resources I want to highlight. If after today's session you want to continue to learn more, please visit the slide deck that's been added to our Q&A. And within this slide deck, there are links throughout of 12 different great resources that are available to our families. Please take time to peruse, explore, and learn more. And I also want to share with you our family portal. Within our CMS family portal, we do have, which is our one-stop shop for all families. Under our general resources pathway, we have our AI for Families course. Once you click on this button, it will take you straight to AI where you'll have additional resources to explore and learn more. So check out the family portal, review the pathways, and make sure to engage with that AI for Families course. It is so comprehensive and informative. I learned a lot as I perused it, and I hope you will too.